So last time I was on, I think I did the Greek kings of Egypt. So today we'll go through the Greek kings of Babylon. And as you read through the book of Daniel, you see that those are the two main characters towards Daniel 10 and 11. And then moving into 12, you kind of, it's a transition. I look forward to getting into 12, but I'm trying to get all this laid down, and then we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get there. But hopefully today we'll finish up and get all the way to all the kings of the north. So we're going to try to get through that. I'm going to try to get through the kings of Babylon. I've showed videos on Hannibal and stuff like that, so I didn't really plan on showing too many videos Facebook, so bear with me. It's gonna be like just a bunch of reading and dates and stuff like that, so we can kind of know which wars is being fought, when they was fought, what's going on, stuff like that. All right, y'all with me? Did I give you that last war I found too about it was no it was one with I'm sure I'll get to it. Matter of fact, let me make sure I send you that, you boda. Somebody say something. Go ahead. Somebody talk. Give me 2 seconds, man.
Hey, shalom, family.
So I don't forget to send this war. I don't want to forget.
You don't want to forget it. All right. Go to Romans 15 and 4. You know what I'm saying? It's a good one. Just think about before Cap go.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
So as Cap been going through these history classes, right, what you realize is even within the scriptures, right, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. So when you look at Daniel, right, he went over it last class, there were things in Isaiah that Daniel, if he had read, right, the angel wouldn't have had to expound, right, if Daniel had understood Isaiah. So today, right, we're going to get an understanding of things that were written aforetime that we could use and apply today. Read again from the top.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Right, so when it says hope there, it's going into us actually having faith in the Lord. So as we get these understandings of history, time, dates, different wars that were actually fought, the outcome and how it related to Israel, these things should build us in the sense of giving us more faith in the Lord, right? That's the point of these classes. So as y'all are listening, make sure y'all taking notes. Make sure y'all think about how these things are going to repeat themselves today, because a lot of this history is going to repeat itself.
All right. Let's get started. All right, family. Hey, shalom, Most High, Christ bless. So we're going to talk about the kings of Babylon, which entail would equal to the kings of the north when you read in the book of Daniel chapter 10, which is making reference to the Seleucid dynasty, right? The Seleucid or Seleucus, Seleucid. You know, I heard it said a few different ways, right? Antiochus, as I've heard it said to be called Antiochus. You know what I'm saying? That's what scholars say. You know what I'm saying? I don't claim to be a scholar. I'm just a guy that like to read history books. But I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? What I got to do to be certified, you know, yeah, I got to be inspired to be certified as a scholar, man. I just watched Captain Isaac's class on, like just telling y'all, it was called Lost Legends. I said, man, he must have watched my class and then said, I'm going to do one like 10 times better. You know what I'm saying? So that was a great class, man. Big ups out there to Captain Isaac, you know what I'm saying, doing this history thing, man. Lord's will, I aspire to be like, you know, a brother like that, you know what I'm saying, Deacon Athan. I'm doing my best. But I try to just really get into the nuts and bolts of the dates, and that really gives me the clarity of a lot of things. So we'll start with, I wrote notes, so I won't be just all over the place, right? See, I got stuff. See that? I don't never do that. I come in here and I just be like, you finna get something out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? All right, so kings of the north or the kings of Babylon. Let's go to the first picture. All right, so this book right here is called Dictionary of Ancient History. So at the back of this book, it has all the listing of the kings, right? So go to the next page. So this is at the back of the book. I didn't bring the book in with me, of course. I always leave, like, the book I want. I left it. But so this right here, you see Alexander, Demetrius, Antiochus, Typhon, Tryphon, Antiochus the 7th, Demetrius. So down to 67 or 65 BC, that's pretty much the end of their empire, which was Antiochus the 12th. So they reigned a long time, right, all the way to 67 BC. That's to 67 BC. At that point, the Romans came in. The ones that's not listed on here, you will have a back and forth between Seleucus and Antiochus, right? So you had like Seleucus the first, then you had Antiochus the first, then you had Seleucus the second, then you had Antiochus the second, then you had Seleucus the second, then you had Antiochus the second, then you had Seleucus the third, then you had Antiochus the third, then you had Seleucus the fourth, then you had Antiochus the fourth, and then we get over here to this guy. So that's pretty much what happens right after Antiochus the fourth. You get to Alexander. I believe that was the son of Antiochus or Antiochus the fourth, Antiochus Epiphanes. So when you read through the book of Maccabees, then you see Alexander pop up. That's his son, or he claimed to be his son. Some say he might have been illegitimate. Read a lot of stuff, man. He was getting it in. Yeah. He was Jon Snow, king of the north. That's exactly. Yeah, man, and that's crazy, man. I was showing that on the class I did last week. A lot of the stuff that they did on Game of Thrones, they took like right out of this Greek history. It's crazy. It'd be like the exact same stuff be going on. Crazy. So let's start right here, man. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 25. Who reading? You got me? All right, cool. Acts chapter 11. And we'll start at verse 25, sir.
Is the book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 25. Mm-hmm. Then departed Barnabas to Tarsus for to seek Saul. And when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So the disciples was called Christians first in Antioch. Antioch is making reference to what? Antiochus or Antiochus, right? This is where these names of these specific places during the biblical times here are named after. They are named after Antiochus, named after Ptolemy and all these different guys. Philippi, Caesarea. What is that making reference to? Well, somebody named the city Philippi after Alexander's dad, Philip the Great. You know what I'm saying? Or Caesarea was named after one of the Roman generals, Julius Caesar. You know what I'm saying? Pompey was named after one of the Roman generals, Pompey. You know what I'm saying? So these were the different things. And what is that? We read it last time. Let's read that. What's that? Psalms 49 and 11. Let's read that right quick. So that's where these different names you're reading about throughout history are coming from. And even to this day, man, some of that stuff still has that name on it. Alexandria is still called Alexandria to this day. Come on.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 49 and verse 11.
Yep.
Their inward thought is that their houses should continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
So that's what happens, right? When they take over a specific area, they change the name of it. And we would do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That, we would do the exact same thing. If we was to go conquer something, Captain Isaac made this point as well, if we was to go conquer something, we would do the same thing. Like, I ain't going to keep it called Cincinnati after who I know is a Roman general, Cincinnatus. Like, nah, I'm going to change the name of the city. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to change the name to something I want it to be called after. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's go back to Acts right quick. Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. Read that again.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So they was out there teaching much people. So we had people there in Antioch. So we can't get it twisted. We can't get it confused where we think, oh, we were just isolated in Jerusalem. No, we was a people that had was well traveled, right? Solomon had a navy, right? We always traveled around. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Verse 27. And in these days came prophets from Jerusalem unto Antioch.
See that? So they was growing, you know what I'm saying? So they was sending prophets there. Go ahead.
And there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar.
Which came to pass. So again, all this stuff is historical, right? Claudius Caesar, it's not like we don't know these names. But we see this stuff, and a lot of people read the Bible and say, it's not true, it's not true. Nah, it's true, man. These are actual people. These are historic figures you can look up, right? Claudius Caesar, that's not hard to look up. That's a Roman. Go ahead.
Verse 29, then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea, which also they did, and sent it to the elders by the hands of Barnabas and Saul.
All right, so I want verse 29. One more time. Come on.
Verse 29.
Yeah.
Then the disciples, every man according to his ability.
So stop. So the disciples were not only just those 12, but it's telling you those people in Antioch, they were disciplined. They were men of the Lord that was keeping the commandments, right? These disciples, what did they do? Go ahead.
Determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea.
Now that's important, right? That's important because what we'll see is that the prophets of the Lord put information in the Bible, right? And that information in the Bible is supposed to help you to guide your life. I know that sounds very obvious, right? But you got to understand the amount of depth they put into what the prophets of the Lord said. See, a lot of times we'll hear what the bishop say or what the deacon say or the captain say, and we'll say, I'm not going to use that solely as my guiding factor, or you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to make that the weightiest part of how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? And these guys, they said, nah, the prophet said it. We're going to do what? Read it again.
Then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea.
So what was happening was they heard something was going to happen. These prophets, or what? These are men that's paying attention to what's going on in the news, right? What's going on with the wars and things like that. It's going to be a problem in Jerusalem, man. So they say, you know what? Let's get them prepared. Let's send some relief in now. Let's get them ready. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what this prophet was saying? He might have been saying the fall of 70 AD or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So they was trying to prepare people ahead of time. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Because what's happening is, right, we're seeing things when we're looking at these history things, right? We're seeing things that have happened in the past that are going to come to pass. So we got to say, you know what? That's going to happen. All right, I got to move like this. I got to move like that. Let's go to Tobit. Tobit did the same thing, right? Tobit, I like that one. I ain't write that one down. See, there I go, Jeddio. I ain't write it down, but hey, it just popped into my head. Let's get it. Tobit. Let's go to the last chapter, chapter 4. I like all of that. Give me 4, man. Read kind of quick. 14:4? Yeah, 14:4, yeah.
Is the book of Tobit, chapter 14 and verse 4.
Yeah.
Go into Media, my son, for I surely believe those things which Jonas the prophet spake of Nineveh, that it shall be overthrown, and that for a time peace shall rather be in Media, and that our brethren shall lie scattered in the earth from that good land. And Jerusalem shall be desolate, and the house of God in it shall be burned, and shall be desolate for a time.
So look at what this guy just said, man. This is Tobit talking to his son, Tobias. He's giving him guidance for how he should live his life, how he should move, because of what he understood that the prophets had said. When he heard Jonah, this making reference to Jonah, right? When he heard Jonah say something, he said, you know what? These are words that I can make sure I live by. These are words I can make sure I make decisions by. You know what? I'm finna die, son, but it's a war coming over here. You should go move over here. You'll be safe. You know what I'm saying? Now we know that the scriptures say when Christ come back this time, he gonna deliver us. So it don't make no sense for us to be like, oh, let's jump in a plane and fly somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing we can do to keep us safe from the coronavirus and the tequila virus and the Patron virus is to, keep the commandments of God. That's what we can do. You know what I'm saying? So just focus on that. And that thing, man, I was thinking about that last night, man. Getting into the kingdom of heaven is a myriad of daily decision making, right? You just make small decisions every day to not sin, and those things will compile, and at some point you'll make it into the kingdom of heaven, right? You just make those daily decisions. You know what? I'm not going to lie today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to watch porn today. I'm not going to lust today. I'm not going to spend my money ineffectively today. I'm going to be more organized. I'm going to be more prepared. I'm going to forgive my brother, whatever it might be, right? I was talking to the wife about this last night, because the problem is with forgiveness, a lot of times it's not I say, hey, bro, I got a problem with you. You know what I'm saying? Or, hey, bro, I need you to fix this, right? I might say it to you. And then your follow-on action might be not doing nothing. Or it might be just moving very slowly on the thing that I think that should be changed within you. But the only thing I can control is, I know I said it to you. I know I'm asking you to repent on this thing. And whether you move or see it at that point, I ain't got no control over that. All I can do is just let it go. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is, why always start talking about my wife? But she'll be like holding on to it. You know what I'm saying? She'll be like, you know what, man? She ain't changed. She ain't done this yet. Like, it take people time to change. It take people time to repent. It take people time to just move in a certain direction. You could be absolutely right. You absolutely right on what you asking one of your sisters to do. You absolutely right on what you might be saying in reference to this or that. But everybody don't change immediately. So now what? You gonna stay mad at them? They still doing that thing. Well, you gotta just, niggas. That's what I say. Go back to the scripture. What I'm talking about.
Tobit chapter 14 and verse 4.
Yeah, read that again.
Go into Media, my son, for I surely believe those things which Jonas the prophet spake of Nineveh, that it shall be overthrown, and that for a time peace shall rather be in Media, and that our brethren shall lie scattered in the earth from that good land. And Jerusalem shall be desolate, and the house of God in it shall be burned, and shall be desolate for a time.
Let's jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And now, my son, depart out of Nineveh.
What did he tell his son?
And now, my son, depart out of Nineveh.
So he didn't just hear the words of the prophet Jonah and say, you know what? I'm going to hold back on that. You know what I'm saying? He said, nah, bro, get out of here, man. It's about to go down. Made some decisions, right? He made some decisions. Go ahead.
Because that those things which the prophet Jonas spake shall surely come to pass.
Yeah.
But keep thou the law and the commandments, and show thyself merciful and just, that it may go well with thee. And bury me decently, and thy mother with me, but tarry no longer at Nineveh. Remember, my son, how Ammon handled Achacarus that brought him up, how out of the light he brought them into darkness, and how he rewarded him again. Yet Achacarus was saved, but the other had his reward, for he went down into darkness. Manasseh gave alms and escaped the snares of death which they had set for him. But Ammon fell into the snare and perished.
So these are the things, again, he's giving you directions on what you can do to be saved, right? He gave alms, right? He forgave people. These are the different things we can do to be, to make it into the kingdom of heaven, right? One more, keep going. It's a part, where is it at, where he say he saw it? Wherefore it became old. Go to verse 13.
Verse 13.
Well, no, 14. Just jump to 14.
Verse 14.
Yeah.
And he died at Ecbatani.
So this is Ecbatani. So this is making reference to Tobit's son Tobias. So Tobias died in Ecbatani after he followed his father's direction. Go ahead.
In Media.
Yeah.
Being 107 and 20 years old.
127. Go ahead.
But before he died, he heard of the destruction of Nineveh, which was taken by Nebuchadnezzar and Ahasuerus. Before his death, he rejoiced over Nineveh.
You see that? So he heard his father's direction, and he was able to hear about those things and see those things before he died. He didn't say he saw it, but he heard about those things before he died. You know what I'm saying? So this man, he made decisions. His decision-making process was based off of what the prophets had said, right? And we're going to look at the scriptures today, and we're going to say, well, what can we learn from these prophets, and how can we move accordingly, right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 39, because I think this is my new favorite verses in the Bible right here. Sirach 39. I know, I read it every day, man. Make my, like what the bishop say, make my teeth white. You know what I'm saying? I read it every day. Love this verse. Sirach 39, verse 1. Bishop brought this out in a class maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, what's the word to say? Floored, enamored. I was flabbergasted. You know what I'm saying? It was, I had an epiphany. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, this is the verse. This is the verse. Read that thing.
Is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Yeah.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
You see that? It say, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients. That's making reference to what? You like history, man. You get into that history, you're going to be seeking it out. You're going to be digging it out. You know what I'm saying? I only brought 4 books today, but a lot of times I come here with a stack of books. I be like, I don't know. I know I read it. You know what I'm saying? In one of these books, I just don't remember which one. I should take better notes. You know what I'm saying? But read that again. I like that verse.
Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1.
Yeah.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
So when you seek out the wisdom of the ancient, you can understand the prophecies. You know what I'm saying? When you see the thing, because it's like this, right? I'm going to give you the scripture too. Whole Sirach 39. We're going to come right back. We're going to go to 2nd Ezra, one of my other faves. 2nd Ezra, where he tell them have 10 kids at once. Where's that at? I think it's 5 or 6, one of them. Yeah, chapter 5, and let's look at verse 41. So this is Ezra speaking to, I'll just say a spirit or an angel or something like that. We'll leave it like that, right? All right, go ahead.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 41.
Yeah.
And I said, behold, O Lord, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved to the end. And what shall they do that have been before me, or we that be now, or they that shall come after us?
So Ezra is asking this apparition, what do the people from times past do, or what do we do now that's the people that's present in Ezra's time, which was during the time of the Persian captivity, right? He's saying, what do we do now, right? Because you're not coming. You say you were closer to those brothers and sisters that's coming at the end. He said, what do we do? Go ahead.
Verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring.
Yes.
Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
Can I get a ring? Can you give me a picture of a ring? Can you show him a picture of a ring? What's that thing? What's that movie? The Ring. Yeah, let me see something like that, a ring like that. Show me a ring. You know, you ask your boater for a ring. I might get I don't know, princess cut. You know what I'm saying? Something, I don't know. What are you going to show me? Yeah, tree diamonds. Thanks, boat. I appreciate you over there. Can you hear me? There we go. All right, let's read it again. All praises. Read that thing.
2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 42.
Yeah.
And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring.
Yeah.
Like as there is no slackness of the last.
So you see that? You can't tell where they stopped making the ring. Go ahead.
Even so, there is no swiftness of the first.
You can't see where they started to make it at the beginning. Go ahead.
So I answered and said, couldest thou not make those that have been made and be now and that are for to come at once?
Read 42 one more time. I'm sorry.
Verse 42.
Yeah.
And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
So he's telling you that his judgment, it goes in this circle, right? So it's a cycle that happens, right? The Edomites rise up, and then the Lord do this to them, and then, you know what I'm saying, then it's a transition, and then another nation rise up, and then this happened, and then, you know what I'm saying, it's just like this circle. Why you shake your head, man? Say something. Just get the mic, man.
I don't know if they, basically what you're saying is everything that you're reading from Exodus, right, forward, it's going to happen again.
It's going to happen over and over and over.
I just don't know if they was catching
and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Just keep happening over and over and over. Y'all brothers ain't want to repent in the past. Y'all ain't want to listen to the scriptures in the past. It's the same. You're reading about yourself a lot of times, man. A lot of times you just reading about yourself. Your brother, why you smiling over there? Shoot. Yeah, let's go. Where were we at? Sirach. Come on, keep going right quick. I think I like some more in there.
Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Yeah.
But he that giveth
No. Back in 2nd Ezra. I'm sorry. I think it's some more I want out of there.
Verse 43.
Yeah, go ahead.
2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 43.
Yeah.
So I answered and said, couldest thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner?
So he said, look, why you can't just put all the spirits and all the people on the earth at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Why you can't just bring all the Edomites, all the Israelites, all the Moabites, all the Jezreelites, all the parasites, whatever you want to call it. Bring them all on the earth right now. Let's see what the Lord's saying. Come on.
Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
Read that verse again.
Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker.
Yep.
Neither may
the part right here.
Neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
So the Lord is telling you, look, man, there's no such thing as what you call that thing they be trying to do, population control or whatever. The Lord said, I got population control. I'm controlling population. I don't want all the people on the earth at the same time. The earth is not designed to hold all the people at the same time. He got a cycle. And they rinse and repeat. Come on.
Verse 45. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which givest life to all.
Now Ezra's arguing with him. He like, look, man, you gave everybody life, Lord. Come on. Go ahead.
Has given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bear it.
Yep.
Even so, it might now also bear them that now be present at once.
He said, he's like, look, man, you made everything. Why you can't just make everybody be present at once? Go ahead and watch what the Lord say to him.
And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman.
How you gonna go talk to a womb of a woman now, first of all? But go ahead. Ask the womb of a woman.
And say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost now it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once.
And we know no woman can't do that. She can't bring forth 10 children at once. Go ahead.
And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time.
So these cycles that we see, it's a cycle. It just keep happening over and over and over. Come on.
Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth.
The what?
The womb of the earth.
Womb of the earth. Go ahead.
To those that be sown in it in their times.
You see that? So you come out at your appointed times. The womb of the earth. All right, let's go back to Sirach chapter 39. Just because I like that thing.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Yeah.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
So when you study history, you actually are studying prophecy. You actually studying prophecy a lot of times. Come on.
Verse 2. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men.
So what you got to do is you got to understand what your leaders have said to you, right? The renowned men, those scholars out there in the world as well, right? You got guys like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we got Bishop Nathaniel, Deacon Athan, right? Captain Isaac has continued to show himself a man of great understanding, right? You also got those scholars out there in the world, right? Those archaeologists and scientists and all these different people that go out there, and then when I say science, don't get crazy, right? I'm talking about those that study different elements and study different things, and they continue to verify and prove that the foundation of life and the foundation of everything that we see is the Bible. That's what I'm talking about, all right? Don't go crazy when I say scientists. All right, go ahead.
And where subtle parables are, he will be there also.
So where subtle parables are, so you'll be able to take the different things that you hear, and you'll say, okay, boom, this is making reference to this in this scripture. You know what I'm saying? I understand the archaeology and the history, and I understand, okay, the bishop said this, I see this scripture, boom, you can put it all together. And that subtle thing, because it happened all the time. I think I said this before. It happened all the time. The bishop will say something, he'll slide it out there. And if you ain't paying attention or you're not keen in to that thing, you'll miss it. You'll miss it. I'd be like, he just said a thing. And some people don't even know. They just taking notes. They just taking, I don't know, he just said a thing. He just said a thing. You know what I'm saying? I can't bring it into words because you miss it. You know what I'm saying? You miss it if you're not paying it. It just slide right past you. You know what I'm saying? And he said it all the time. Like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, I'm going to just keep going. Go ahead.
Said something about his revelation classes, and when Caleb got here, I said it to him. Caleb was like, you heard that too? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, some brothers hear it. That's like, what the scriptures say. Yeah, some brothers can hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's like what they say, like a dog whistle, right? You got to be keened in to the right pitch, and then you'll hear it. Anybody got any questions? I know I'm just rambling. Are we all good? Let me know if any questions pop up or something. I don't know if I'm going to stop, but let me know. I might have to answer it. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences.
Read verse 2 one more time.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also.
You'll be able to catch those subtle parables. Subtle means like it wasn't like he didn't stunt, because you got to understand, right, when you're teaching, right, when you're instructing, right, like I said, my job is I'm a teacher, right, that's what I do, I'm an instructor. So, you know, certain cues you can give to your students in order to say, this is important, right? You can stomp the ground. You can point to the board. You can do different things to say, this is important. But what this is saying right here, read that again.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are.
Where subtle parables are, meaning just going to slide it out there. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to always be something that you can say, I remember he stumped his foot. It's not going to be a visual and a verbal cue, because you can deflect your voice in order to show the importance of things. You can raise your voice. You can lower your voice. You can show different ways to make this thing stick into your students' heads. You know what I'm saying? But where subtle parables are, go ahead.
He will be there also.
You'll be able to pick those things up. All the information, you'll be able to carry it. Go ahead.
He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables.
And all of these things stem back from history, right? You'll be able to pick up subtle parables. You'll be conversant in dark parables, right? Where because that like we continue to see, right? Esau put different stuff in books, and you'll miss it if you don't understand what's going on. It'll smooth go over your head. All right, let's go to where I'm going now. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Here we go. We'll do some of this now. Daniel chapter 11. Y'all know I'm always in there. We're going to get it in. Daniel chapter 11. All right, so I've been over verses 1, 2, 3, and 4 a number of times. I hope y'all got it. All right? So we're going to jump smooth past Alexander. I done went through the kings of Persia as well. Right? We're going to jump smooth past Alexander, and we're going to start with verse 5. Come on.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 5.
Yeah.
And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion.
So when it's making reference to the king himself, it's talking about the Ptolemaic kings of Egypt, or the Ptolemaic pharaohs, or the Greek pharaohs of Egypt. That's what it's making reference to. So the Ptolemies, right? Go ahead.
And in the end of years they shall join themselves together. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand, nor his arm. But she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times.
So let's bring up that article I sent you. Let's bring up that article I sent you. All right, so if y'all don't know, this is making reference to Bernice Pharnophoros, or Bernice the Assyrian, right? So this right here, right, this is Lesetho, first lady, is charged with murdering. What he charged with? Murdering his husband's ex-wife, right? So this stuff is still happening today, right? So that's what you're reading about here in verse 6. You're reading about Antiochus II. He had a wife named Laodice, right? He divorced her, but when he divorced her, he married Ptolemy's daughter, Bernice, and when he did that, Laodice got mad, murdered her. You know what I'm saying? Murdered her. So that's what you're reading about right here, right? So let's read this. Read a little bit of this article. All right. So it say the first lady of Lesotho, Messiah Thaban, has been charged with murdering her husband's former wife in a crime that has gripped the, what's that called? Tiny mountain kingdom. Lepilo Thaban was shot dead outside her home in the capital, Masura, just 2 days before Prime Minister Thomas Thaban inauguration in June 2017. Messiah Thaban, 42, appeared in court Wednesday and was remained in custody after the murder charges. She was also charged with the attempted murder of a second woman whom was with the former first lady the night she was killed. The murder has shocked the small kingdom surrounded entirely by South Africa. They keep making reference to it being small and tiny. I don't know why they kept doing that when I was reading this. But it says, with political pressure mounting, the 80-year-old prime minister announced. So his wife is 42 and he 80. With political pressure mounting, the 80-year-old prime minister announced last month that he would respect the wishes of the ruling party and would resign from office. A date for his resignation has not been announced. So I just thought that was interesting, man, because it was like, you can go back. She was doing the same type of stuff, right? So when you read this history, you can see this stuff still happens, man. This stuff still happens, and a lot of times I was reading this too, man, because a lot of times what we think about when we think about the government specifically is that, you know, what we see today in democracy is normal. You know what I'm saying? But when you read the Bible, it's not talking about democracy. It's talking about a monarchy, right? Christ is going to be the king. That means he will be the HNIC. He going to make decisions and we going to move. It's not going to be like we the people vote for some stuff. And we want you to do this, Christ. Christ, we going to put you on the ballot. We don't know if we want you or Trumpski. You know what I'm saying?
Christ going to slide a bill out.
Yeah.
Y'all vote on this bill.
Y'all vote on this. Nah, bruh. He gonna be like, hear the Bible. Y'all do what it say. Get down and lay down. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back. So read so when you read verse 6, you don't have to read it again. When you read verse 6, that's making reference to the second Assyrian war. Right? So when you're reading through these things, these are making reference to the Assyrian wars. It was 6 of them, right? Right, Jediah? 6 Syrian wars, right? So that's what this is making reference to. The second one. This is making reference to the second Syrian war, which was between Antiochus II and Ptolemy II. That's what it's going into. All right? Everybody clear? All right, let's go. Keep going. Verse 7.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 7.
Yeah.
But out of a branch of her roots.
So out of the branch of her roots. So you got to remember what happened. All right, so Bernice was given to Antiochus, right? Go ahead.
Shall one stand up in his estate.
So her brother got mad. Go ahead.
Which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north.
Yeah.
And shall deal against them, and shall prevail.
So shall deal against them and prevail. So this is making reference to the third Syrian war. The third Syrian war. All right, let's go to... Let's go to... I don't want none of that. All right, keep going.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold. And he shall continue more years than the king of the north.
So he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So Antiochus II, right, they took a L. right? And as you read through these Assyrian wars, right, you'll see, and I kind of want to just focus on Antiochus or Antiochus, the king of the north side. I know we're making reference to the Ptolemaic dynasty, but they was the Antiochians were perpetual losers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kept losing all these Assyrian wars. They was getting their butts handed to them. You know what I'm saying? They was losing so much, even when they won, they didn't even know how to win. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. I was reading. I'm like, they winning, and they giving them stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they lost. I'm like, I'm confused. You're winning right now. But they was just so in a, you know how you get into that culture of losing. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't know how to win. They didn't know how to win. That's how much they lost. Let's go.
Verse 9. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom and shall return into his own land. But his son shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces. And one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress.
Go ahead.
And the king of the south shall be moved with choler.
So the king of the south, the Ptolemies, they was pissed off. Go ahead.
And shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand.
Dang, they lost again. Look, so the Antiochus them, they lost again. Now we're gonna go to Antiochus or Antiochus the second. I just want to show y'all this real quick. I want verse 10. Heads. Give me Antiochus. You can just wiki that thing right quick. Antiochus the second. I know wiki ain't the greatest source, but just quick. You know what I'm saying? I got plenty of history books that say the same stuff. I don't want to go into all that. All right, so Antiochus the second, or Theos, right? Let's scroll down some. Scroll on down. So yeah, Asia Minor, this is the land that he had, Thrace. Okay, so I want, you see over there where it says, spouse, dynasty, mother, religion. Scroll up over there on that box. I want to see who his who his successor was. So see that right there? See, it says his successor up there. Go up on the right there. Over there, over to the right. There you go. So his predecessor was Antiochus the first, right? His successor, or the person that ruled after him, was Seleucus the second. So it kind of goes in these back and forth, right? So Seleucus the second rules after him, right? And he took L's. He was taking L's, right? But it says something specific. Read verse 10 again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 10.
Yes.
But his sons
But who?
But his sons.
So it's making reference to multiple sons. So he had more sons than just Seleucus the second. He had two sons, right? His other son, right? Scroll, where it say reign? Scroll down some. Indo-Greek. Go ahead. Daughter Bernice, Hellespont, India. Oh, I don't show it. All right, whatever. So his second son, right, was Antiochus the third, right? So he had two sons. I'll say two significant sons. We'll say that. He might have more. But he had a son named Seleucus the second, and he had a son named Antiochus or Antiochus the third. That was also his son, right? So read verse 10 again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 10.
What happened? Okay, there you go right there. Okay. So Laodice the first then proclaimed Seleucus as king. Seleucus the second is king. With his cousin's wife. Antiochus had two sons, Seleucus the second, Antiochus Hirax, and three daughters. So that Antiochus Hirax, that's Antiochus the third, or Antiochus or Antiochus the Great. So he had two sons. So read verse 10 again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 10.
Yeah.
But his sons shall be stirred up.
Yeah, he had two boys. They was, man, whoop my daddy butt, man. My daddy is a loser. Goodness. Go ahead.
And shall assemble a great multitude of great forces.
So they was able to assemble a great multitude of forces. Go ahead.
And one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through.
Yeah.
Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress.
So can they still see this, or they looking at us, Bodo? Huh? Click on Seleucus the second right quick. Just click on it. Scroll down a little bit. All right. It should say the war to default. Let's scroll down. Yeah, right there. Go ahead. Yep, I just want that part right there where it say defeat in Third Syrian War. All right, read verse 10. One more time.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 10.
Can you bring us up and have this up as well, Bodo? All right, cool. All right, read that again.
But his sons shall be stirred up, and assemble a multitude of great forces.
Yeah.
And one shall certainly come, and overflow and pass through.
Yep.
Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress.
So this is making reference to the Third Syrian War, right? The Third Syrian War. That's what's going on here.
And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, and shall come forth and fight with him.
What is that, Bodo? Is that how it look right now? Oh, can we fix that? No, we don't want it to look like that. I don't know. It look like I'm a picture in a picture in a picture. It's like 3-4 pictures in that thing. All right, cool. So they was taking L's, right? It say Seleucus managed to maintain himself in the interior Asia Minor, made engagement in the shore power there. One of his sisters, Mithridates of Pontus, another, married, blah, 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 blah. Antiochus the third of the great Seleucus then appointed his brother Antiochus Herax as viceroy of Asia Minor and marched against the Ptolemies. Ptolemy the third, which we just read about in verse 7, right? Ptolemy the third returned to Egypt in 245, reputedly taking with him 40,000 talents of gold, statues of Egyptian gods, which had been located centuries before by the Persians. Let's read verse 8 again. 3, 7, and 8.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 7.
Yeah.
But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate,
Yep.
which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them and prevail.
Yep.
And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods.
What did we just read about? It said, Ptolemy, when the Egypt 245, he took with him 40,000 talents of gold and statues of what? Egyptian gods. Go ahead.
With their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold.
And you see, it took 40,000 talents of gold, right? He took that stuff. Go ahead.
And he shall continue more years than the king of the north.
Yeah. That's it. So it's making reference to the Third Syrian War, which you're reading about in Daniel's chapter 11, verse 7 and 8. That's the Third Syrian War. Is that what it's called? I keep saying Assyrian or Syrian. Is it? Which one is it? Syrian. The Third Syrian War. All right. Let's go back to 10. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 10.
Yeah.
But his sons shall be stirred up.
So Antiochus, Seleucus, the second he was stirred up. Go ahead.
And shall assemble a multitude of great force.
I got to get my lick back. I got to get my punch back, man. These guys was perpetual losers, though. You know what I'm saying? They just kept losing. They was getting their butt kicked. Go ahead.
And one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through.
Yeah.
Then shall he return and be stirred up, even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, and shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand.
Go ahead.
And when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, but he shall not be strengthened by it.
Here it comes.
For the king of the north shall return.
So now it say the king of the north shall return. Now Seleucus the second and died. Antiochus or Antiochus the third has taken over. So when you read king of the north here, you make a reference to him. And the fourth and the fifth Syrian wars. That's what you're making reference to here. Go ahead.
And shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and much riches.
And much riches. So Antiochus or Antiochus the third, he compared himself, or his muse or his role model, who he wanted to be like, was Alexander, right? Alexander the Great. So if you look up like pictures of him, he always had a hat on and stuff like that because he wanted to be like Alexander. You know what I'm saying? So he conquered a lot of territories, and that's why he was called Antiochus or Antiochus the Great, because he had kings up under him. So he was called the Great. You know what I'm saying? But took L's to these Ptolemies guys. Like, he kept taking L's. They was winning, though. It's crazy because when you read the Israel, they was winning. They was beating them, but he just would still make overtures to them. Like, I don't know. It's weird. We'll look at it. What paper? Oh, no. What's that? I don't even know something. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, they did. You can say that. Go ahead, say something.
Saying they needed that paper from Egypt because Egypt was controlling the resources. So the king of the south controlled resources. So even when they was winning, they economically they wasn't winning.
Right. They could win on the battlefield, but economically, the Ptolemies, they had control over that Nile and over that water and those resources and a lot of the food. So they was still like, nothing they could do. All right, let's where I'm at.
That was verse 13.
Let's read verse. Read verse 13 again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 13.
Yeah.
For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches.
So he had a great army and much riches, right? He had conquered and took back all the territories from before. He also went into Syria, or the land that's known as like Israel, and bring up Syria so you can see all the area that it controls. Syria. If you can bring up like a map of it, it's like, I always look it up. I can't ever remember all the territory it is, but it's like that Middle East kind of area right there that they would call it today. Like Lebanon or something like that. I think it say like Lebanese mountains and all that. He took all that stuff back. Now he took it back now. Now be mindful, he took it back. Took it back from the Ptolemies. Right? So his brother and his dad and them had lost that area. They had lost it to the Ptolemies. He took it back. Where I'm at, Hez.
That was verse 13 again.
Let's read it one more time.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 13.
Yeah.
For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches.
Keep going.
And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
So everybody was pissed off at the Ptolemies, right? They controlling the resources. Go ahead.
Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall.
So it say that there shall many stand up against the king of the south. So you got to understand, right? Diplomacy works like this, right? Is that you may align with a specific kingdom. When you align with that specific kingdom, right, people don't like you because you align with them. So you got to remember, during this same time frame, Rome was on the rise, right? Rome is on the rise. So the Ptolemaic dynasty, or the kings of the south, had made an agreement or allegiance with the Romans. You know what I'm saying? They were friendly with the Romans. I'll say it like that. But the king of the north, or the Seleucid dynasty, they hated the Romans. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's go to First Maccabees. We'll start at verse 10. Verse 10, chapter 1, I'm sorry. I didn't say no chapter, I just said verse 10. Dang.
Is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Yeah.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king.
So son of Antiochus the king, Antiochus the third. This is making reference to Antiochus the third. Go ahead.
Who had been in hostage at Rome.
Where was his son a hostage at?
Who had been in hostage at Rome.
Go ahead.
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
All right, so this verse right here is making reference to, when it says Antiochus the king, is making reference to Antiochus or Antiochus the third, Antiochus the great. All right, we're going to jump over to chapter 8 real quick. Chapter 8. We'll start at verse 1. So this is Judas Maccabees making reference to, he's talking about the history of the Romans, or someone, whoever wrote the book of Maccabees, I'll say it like that, whoever wrote the book of Maccabees, and making reference to the Romans. All right, go ahead, let's read this.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Yeah.
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans.
He heard of the what?
He heard of the fame of the Romans.
So they was famous. The Romans was famous. What were they famous for?
That they were mighty and valiant men,
Yeah.
and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
So make a league of amity. Can I get the definition of amity? They made a league of amity with all that came unto them. League of amity. Amity, it says friendship, right? Especially friendly relations between nations. So that's what was going on, right? They was making relationships between nations. A lot of times, diplomacy, right, as what they call it in America today, right, don't mean that I'm going to come in there with an army and take over your country. It means I'm going to give you something, and you're going to give me something. Right? So the resources are exchanged a lot of times. So when it's saying amity, it's saying, look, we're going to give you a certain amount of crops, right? And with that, we'll give you a certain amount of military protection. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on right here. So we heard, let's read verse 1 again.
1 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Yeah.
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans,
Yeah.
that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
Yeah.
And that they were men of great valor. And it was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians.
Among the Galatians, go ahead.
And how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute.
Go ahead.
And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of mines of the silver and gold which is there.
So these Romans was fighting against people in Spain, right? Anybody know who was in Spain at this time? Anybody can tell me who was there online? Anybody know who was in Spain at the time? Who had control of that territory? Anybody got a clue? I don't got it wrote down. What you got wrote down? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yep. Hey, there y'all go. Y'all listen to some stuff I say, huh? The Moors. Moors, which are the Israelites. Let's be more specific, if you can. I won't say that's wrong. I'm just asking for, if y'all could be more specific. That's kind of general. I don't hate that. Hannibal. There we go. So they was dealing and fighting against Hannibal, right? So Hannibal was a great warrior. He had great victories. But when they defeated Hannibal, what did they achieve? Read verse 1 again.
1 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Yeah.
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans.
See that? They was famous. They had conquered a great general. You know what I'm saying? So they was famous. Go ahead.
That they were mighty and valiant men.
Yeah.
And such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
Jump down to verse 3 again.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And what they had done in the country of Spain.
So with the Romans, so this, what they did against Hannibal made them famous. You know what I'm saying? Made them famous. Go ahead.
For the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there.
Here it comes.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth.
So now it's saying the kings that was coming against them from the uttermost parts of the earth. When was these kings coming against them? Let's jump back. We're going to come right back to that. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 11, and we was looking at verse 14.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 14.
Yeah.
In those times there shall stand up against the king of the south also the robbers.
Right.
And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
So why was many coming against the king of the south? Because they had made a league of amity with these Romans. They was like, man, we hate the Romans. We want to reign forever, the Greeks. You know what I'm saying? We the Greeks, man. Forget them Romans. Told him, he was like, nah. I see what they building over there. I'm gonna rock with these cats. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go back to First Maccabees chapter 1. And we was at verse 4. 8 and verse 4.
This is the book of First Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 4.
Yeah.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
So when they whooped you, when the Romans whooped you, you had to pay them taxes, right? They taxed them. Go ahead.
Besides this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip.
So Philip, this is Philip the third, I believe. Go ahead.
And Perseus.
Perseus was his son. Go ahead.
King of the Chittims.
So these guys were kings of Macedon. Right? These guys were kings of Macedon. Go ahead.
With others that lifted up themselves against them.
With others. Those others that had made a league of amity against the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Romans. Go ahead.
And had overcome them.
Yep.
How also Antiochus. The great king of Asia.
You see that? The great king of Asia. Also the king of Syria, the king of India, the king of, what else? Babylon. Right? He had all these different things that he was the king over. Right? Read that again.
How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia.
So this is making reference to Antiochus or Antiochus the third. This is still the third. This is the father of Antiochus Epiphanes. He was the great king. Go ahead.
That came against them in battle.
Yeah.
Having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots and a very great army, was discomfited by them.
So it's elephants, right? Now who was known for rolling with the elephants and fighting with the elephants? Hannibal, right? Hannibal was known for that, right? So let's go to the book. Let's get some book in here. Let's look at yeah, sure, Yoboda. Yeah. I guess that's the book you want to start with. Hannibal, right? All right, which page I put in there? I just put random pages, so who knows what I got in here. Just so we can look at a little history concerning Hannibal, right? All right, what's the first page? 2? All right, so I go to page 2 first. Let's see what I wrote. Some of this stuff, man, I might not want it. Oh, I want page 2. Oh, yeah, that one's crazy. All right, cool. Bring it up. All right, scroll in. I want the bottom paragraph down there at the bottom. So this is making reference to Hannibal, right? So Hannibal was also known as a Phoenician, right? Carthaginian. So it tell you right here, it says, right there where it say number 2, it says the Phoenicians were what? Semites. Tell you they was Semites. They was Israelites. Go ahead. Of an earlier, I'm saying go ahead to myself. Of an earlier migration than the modern Mohammedan Arab. So it say that the Semites, or our people, we had moved around before these Arabs was moving, right? It says they belong to the great Canaanite movement, which began sometime about the year 2300 BC. So it just called us Semites, and then it's a Canaanite movement. All right. Random. This is making reference to us. You know what I'm saying? But we was dark-skinned. So it was like these Semites was dark-skinned Semites. All right, where are we going next? Page 4. All right, let's go to page 4. What I got on there? I don't know what I want to know for here. Yeah. I want where it say he brought the task. Yeah, right there. Okay, this page 4 in this book, it says, he brought to task gifts by no means despicable. His very physical type has impressed after ages with a peculiar, half distasteful interest. At some time during their migration, the Canaanite Semites must have crossed with another racial stock, the identity of which is somewhat of a mystery. They call them Canaanite Semites. Remember you was talking about this the other day. Yeah, I was like, I don't remember what book it's in, but I know what you're talking about. So it's this book right here. They call them Canaanite Semites. Yeah, it tell you they was dark-skinned brothers, but they were Semites at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm going next, Boda? Page 5. I don't know what I want off of there. Yeah. I want it's like in the middle. We'll start with fixed. It's like kind of in the middle of the page. Scroll in some. Fixed. All right. It said fixed firm and fixed firm and unalterable in resolution, supple and elusive, hard to pen, and unbending obstinacy. When penned, he seems specially created for the task of facing unmoved all the terrors of commercial adventuring in unknown and uncharted regions. We are not without modern illustration of the type. The Jew still preserve it in a softened form. Like the Jew, so it's comparing the Jews to what? The Phoenicians had the mathematical gift which made him a good businessman, swift to analyze and reckon up the factors before him, careful and accurate in his bookkeeping. He had a robustness of body and mind that could wear down the more temperamental European, a power of association so strong as to be a little too rigid and exclusive. So it tell you that we have, we could look at things and understand mathematically the best way to make decisions. And yeah, man, we was cold. We was cold people, man. I like where it say right there, could wear down the more temperamental Europeans. That's y'all brothers and sisters out there, man. They'll be out there losing. You cool, baby. Stay cool. You know what I'm saying? All right, where I'm at. What's the next page? I want it. Page 6. Goodness. I don't know what I want off here. I don't know what I wanted. I don't know what I wanted off of that page, but don't worry about it. Skip that one. I think it's going into the fabrics and the dyes that we made, but I'm cool. Page 7, I wanted some off there. Okay, yeah. I like this one. It says page 7, and I'll let you scroll in. Yeah, there go my green writing. It says they had evolved their qualities in the subtropical desert. The Semite does not take well to the rainier and colder climates of Europe. You see that? I'm with them. I'm with y'all, man. I hate the cold. That's why I live in the best place in Babylon, man. I'm in San Diego. I don't know how y'all brothers and sisters be doing it in New York and Denver. And, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how they do it, man. It's cold out there. All right, where I'm going. What's next? 47. 47. What you say, Bodo? I can't hear you, bro. Number 11, it says, it's just saying Canaanite Semites again. I'm cool. What else I got? It's just calling them Canaanite Semites again. 247. It calls them Canaanite Semites throughout this book. So I tell you that they was Israelites, man. 247. Oh, the 10 things on 247? No, that's not 1047. I'm looking at 247. That's the be the next page, right? One of these should be. I know I have found where Hannibal is talking to this Philip and Perseus. It's in here as well. But Hannibal was dealing with Philip and Perseus as well. I don't remember where it's at though. Let's go to. I don't know what I wanted out of here, but what you see? It says 247. You said. This is not 247 though. That's a different page. I'm looking at 247. That page is 274. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, you throwing me off, man. Let's go back to Maccabees chapter 8. And let's look at verse 3 again. Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 3.
Yeah.
And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there. Mm-hmm. And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomforted them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
So it say the rest did give them tribute every year. So Hannibal fought against the Romans in what's known as the Second Punic War. And I believe it was the Battle of Zama, Zama, that was his final defeat as a Phoenician or as a Carthaginian. And what you'll see is that he'll transition. Watch. All right, so let's go to 247, 274. I'm sorry, in the same book. It says. So this is what happened, right? Okay, say 274 says, to the very humble deputation, which according to waited upon, Scipio gave no direct answer. He invited a confederate at Tunis. So Tunis is known as the Tunisians or the Carthaginians, right? Same people. Thereafter, he had dryly let the Carthaginian envoys sing their songs. He presented his terms. So they came into a negotiation singing. There's a lot of people, boy. I'll tell you, boy. They ran as following. So these are the terms that Scipio presented to Hannibal. It says autonomy for Carthage and full possession of her African territories at an enemy. I'm saying, so it's saying like you got to give over your territories to the Romans. Read verse 4 again.
1 Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 4.
Yeah.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place.
You see that? That was in their policy. When we defeat you, you know what? You got to give us your land. All right, let me keep reading. It says surrender of all fugitives and deserters, right? So people that was running out of Rome, running to the Carthaginians, running to their side. It says surrender of all ships of war, save 10, and of all elephants. So it tell you right here, Hannibal had elephants here in Carthage. He had ships of war. So these guys was going at it on the waters, on the seas, and on the land. Now, when it say elephants, right, in the history I've done, they was also getting elephants out of India, right? Antiochus, they would get elephants out of India as well. It says, no more elephants to be trained. So they was training their elephants to fight. You know what I'm saying? It says, no war either in or out of Africa without the consent of Rome. So they couldn't even go out and fight unless Rome allowed them to fight. Full restitution to Macedonia, full maintenance for the Roman forces until the ratification of peace. Number 7, it says a war indemnity of 10,000 talents of silver to be paid in equal annual installments over a period of 50 years. Read verse 4 one more time.
1 Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 4.
Yeah.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them, and given them a great overthrow.
Here it come, right here.
so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
So that's what we read right here. This was in their policy. When they laid out their policy, they said, this is what you got to do. You got to give us 10,000 talents of silver to be paid in equal annual installments over a period of 50 years, taxing them. Number 8, it says 100 hostages to be delivered over 14 and under 31 years of age. So that was the way that you had to give them hostage. So you had to be between the age range of 14 and 31 is who they wanted. And you think they just want some guys on the street? Nah, they want the king's kids. They want the people with political sway. That's what they wanted. It wasn't like they just took Joe Schmo on the beach. Nah, they took specific prisoners. What's his background? What's his lineage? What does he do? Who is he? Who is his family? These are the things that how they would determine who would be the hostages. How many did they want? It says 100 hostages to be delivered over 14 and under 31 years of age. And finally, no treaty or armistice to be considered until the transport and cargoes were restored. So these are the terms that Rome would lay out against Hannibal, and the same they would do in the defeat of Antiochus the third in what's known as the Battle of Manganese. They determined the same things. They told them pretty much the same stuff. All right, so let's read verse 5.
First Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 5.
Yeah.
Beside this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus.
So Philip and Perseus, they had sided with Hannibal and with Antiochus or Antiochus the third. Go ahead.
King of the Sidonians.
Yep.
With others that lifted up themselves against them and had overcome them.
So the same taxes, the same levies that they laid on Hannibal, they laid on Philip and Perseus of Greece. Go ahead.
How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them.
So they also defeated Antiochus the third, and when they defeated him, they did the same thing. They laid those same penalties. You got to pay me this money. You got to give me this silver. You got to give up your elephants, and you got to give us hostages. Go back to verse 10 of chapter 1 so we can read that again. What?
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 10.
Yeah.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
Yeah.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Now you saying Antiochus. You want to be a scholarly?
Saying it like you.
I just going back and forth. I keep saying both. Go ahead. Read that again.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, the son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome.
So he was a hostage at Rome. Why? Because he had lost the Battle of Manganese. He had to send his son over there. He had to send his son over to the Romans, right? He had to send his son. But I'm jumping ahead. Let's go back to Daniel. Let's go back to Daniel so we can just kind of get how do we get to this point. Okay, let's read chapter 11 and verse 14 again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 14.
Yeah.
And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
So bring me up Antiochus the third. I believe it's the 5th Syrian war. This should be the 5th Syrian war. Go ahead.
Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision.
Yeah.
But they shall fall.
So amongst these people were also the Herodians or the Idumeans were amongst these Romans and all these people. They were in there too. They were in the midst. And I'm going to continue to dig out the history so I can make it as plain as possible. I got a few verses, but I'm working on it. All right. So it says 246 or 241. That's third. No. I said the 5th. Should be the 5th Assyrian War. Yeah. But I really want Antiochus the Great. I don't really want this. Antiochus the Great. So in previous wars, right, the 3rd Syrian War, the 4th Syrian War, when the Ptolemies would defeat the king of the north, or Antiochus and them, when they would defeat them, they would take their treasure cities, right? They wouldn't just take any old random city, right? So you had cities like Antioch, you had cities like what was the other cities? I wrote down a few. If I can find my paper, let me see. Where's that? Oh, it's on the other side. Oh, see, I'm slow. Dang it, man! It was a specific pier. It was a specific pier that they had took. I can't remember, but it was the capital. The capital of them was like, was it Thrace? I can't remember. But so Antiochus the third, right? That's this guy right here. You see, he got a hat on, right? Let's scroll down to like the 5th Assyrian War. Can you scroll down some? Scroll on down. Background, early reign. So he was beating everybody until he got to the Ptolemies, right? Early war against them. So 4th war, salute the Parthian, Bactrian, go dead, go down. These Bactrian, Persian, Selo-Syrian. So here we go. So Selo-Syrian war, right? The 5th Syrian war. That's what we're reading about here, right? You see war against Rome and death happens after this specific war. All right, so it says from Seleucia of Tigris led to a short expedition of the Persian Gulf against Gaharians, oh man, on the Arabian coast. Antiochus seemed to have restored the Seleucid Empire in the east, which earned him the title the Great, or Antiochus Megios. In 205 or 204 BC, infant Ptolemy IV Epiphanes succeeded to the Egyptian throne. So a kid is ruling in Egypt, right? One of the Ptolemies, that's the 5th, right? Ptolemy V or Ptolemy Epiphanes succeeded to the Egyptian throne, and Antiochus is said, notably by Polybius, to have concluded a secret pact with Philip of Macedon. That's what we were just reading about. Philip V. So I said Philip III. So it's Philip V, and his son was Perseus, right? Philip V of Macedon, for the partition of the Ptolemaic possession under the terms of Macedon, who received the Ptolemaic possession around the Aegean Sea and Cyrene, while Antiochus would annex Cyprus and Egypt. Once more, Antiochus attacked Ptolemaic provinces of Celesyria and Phoenicia. In 199 BC, he seemed to have had possession of it before the Aetolian leader Scipio recovered it for Ptolemy, but that recovery proved brief, for in 198 BC, Scopius battle near the sources of Jordan, a battle which marks the end of the Ptolemaic rule of Judea. See how I keep it say Celesyria, stop. It say Celesyria, but then it say Judea. And then when you look up Celesyria, it take you in this circle. And it's like, it's talking about like Lebanon and stuff, but I know it's talking about Israel. But see right there, call it Judea. I want, go back up. I want his daughter. So you see this guy right now, he's winning. Now watch what he does as a winner, which makes no sense. Scroll all the way up. It should say it's like kids, right? So right there. So Cleopatra the first, right there. Cleopatra the Syrian. Yeah, he's winning. He just won. He took his land back. Now watch what he does. Click on that. Cleopatra the first. All right, so a lot of times when y'all read about Cleopatra in our mind, we're thinking about Cleopatra the seventh. When you see like Elizabeth Taylor and Cleopatra dealing with Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, that's Cleopatra the seventh. This is the first Cleopatra. This is Cleopatra the first. So Cleopatra the first was the daughter of Antiochus or Antiochus the third. Cleopatra the first was the daughter of Antiochus the third. Now watch this. Cleopatra first or Syrians. So they was calling themselves Syrians as well. They the Edomite. They calling themselves Syrians. They just taking it, just like Ptolemy was calling themselves Egyptians. These guys was calling themselves Syrians. Right? All right, so it say Cleopatra first Syrian was a princess of the Seleucid Empire, queen of Ptolemaic Egypt by marriage to Ptolemy the fifth. Now remember, it just said he was an infant. Yeah, but what did he do? Now he's winning. Why do you have to, like, that makes no sense. You're winning. I should not have to give you my daughter, but he gives him his daughter. He's like a perpetual loser. He don't know how to win. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was losing. His daddy, his cousin, his brother, everybody had lost. So even though he took back his land, he sends his daughter over there to marry the infant, the young child, right? It says Queen of Ptolemaic Egypt by marriage to Ptolemy the fifth of Egypt and region of Egypt during the minority of their son Ptolemy the sixth from her husband's and death in 180 BC until her own death in 176. Scroll down. Life, queen. Here we go right there. All right, that's what I want right there. All right, so look, it say in 197 BC, Antiochus III had captured a number of cities in the Asia Minor province. Now it's called the Asia Minor. Judea, he conquered Israel, right? He took back that land. That land was very important. Let's read that real quick. Chapter 1 and verse let's start at verse 33. Yeah, First Maccabees. I'm sorry. First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 33. Watch this.
It's the book of First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 33.
And for the authors already heard me say this, I understand, right? But this is a key point to why they wanted Israel, why they wanted Judea, why they wanted Celesyria, why they wanted what they just called it here, Asia Minor. This is not Asia Minor, but that's what it's saying. I don't know. Maybe it's not making reference to that. Whatever. Go ahead.
Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
So this is what the Greeks was doing. This is what Antiochus was doing. They took the city of David, or Jerusalem, and they made it a stronghold for them. Go ahead.
And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
So they had a great army. Remember, that army didn't just include just Greeks. They would pay different people from all over to get in their army. Go ahead.
They stored it also with armor and victuals.
So in Judea, they put what you would call today is like a guard post or like a ammo place, right? They put all their weapons and resources in this area. Go ahead.
And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to Israel.
So it say it was a place to lie in wait. See, what we don't understand as a people a lot of time is the strategic war things that people do, right? We don't think about it. We just see stuff happening. No. These is chess moves, man. They set it up. They put the stuff there, the weapons and the resources there. Why? Because they said this is a central location. If we got to move against Egypt, this is a central location where we can all send our army through there. They can get stocked up, you know what I'm saying, before they go in. If we want to fight against Rome, this is a central location. Everybody can get stocked up. We can go out and fight against Rome. Or whoever it goes. They was fighting against wars in India. They say, we want to go to India. Guess what? Jerusalem is a place where we can stock up and go to India. So it was a central location where they can store their resources in order to defeat their enemies. Does that make sense what I'm saying? You sure? Anything you want to say?
Just thinking back to the fact that you said our people don't think that way, but we got to because we're in a spiritual war.
In a spiritual war.
Right, so we got to start to look at things and say the things we're doing are setting us up to win the war.
Yes. Come on. Yeah. Go back to the article, to the wiki real quick. All right. Alexandria, the Romans supported. Okay, so here we go right here. Okay, so Asia previously under the control of Ptolemaic dynasty, king of Egypt. What did it say right there? The Romans supported the Egyptian interests. See that? So Rome had sided with Egypt, right? Hannibal and Antiochus and Philip, they all on one side. And then on the other side, you got the Ptolemies and you got the Romans. Now let's see what he's doing. It says, when they negotiated with the Seleucid king in Lysimachus in 196 BC, in response, Antiochus III indicated his willingness to make peace with Ptolemy V to have his daughter Cleopatra marry Ptolemy V. See that? He's winning, but he sends his daughter over there. Let's see what happens. They were betrothed in 195, and their marriage took place in 193 BC in Raphaea. At that time, Ptolemy was about 16 years old, and Cleopatra the First about 10 years old. 10 years old. It say 10 years old, but it should say 10 years older. She was older than him. So she should have been like 26. That's what you get when you read Wiki. She was older than this dude, right? She was like 10 years older than him. That's what you was telling me, huh, Yasadi? Okay. So, yeah, she was 10 years older. It say 10 years old. She wasn't 10 years old. Yeah, he was young, and she was older than him. But anyway, in 193 B.C. Raphael, at the time Ptolemy V was about, I just read that. Later on, Egypt Ptolemaic kings were to argue, here it comes, that Cleopatra I had received Seleucia as her dowry, and therefore the territory again belonged to Egypt. You see that? You see what this dude did? He just won the war, he winning it, and then he give the land back that he just conquered with his daughter. Perpetual loser, man.
That got nothing to do with economics. That's stupidity.
That's stupidity right there. Stupidity. I want to go down to where it's saying Alexandria. Go down a little bit more. All right, so this dude is winning, but he gives his daughter away in some territory. Makes no sense. In Alexandria, Cleopatra I was called the Syrian. As part of the Ptolemaic cult, she was honored with her husband at Theos Epiphanes, in line with the ancient Egyptian tradition. She was also named Adelphine, or sister of Ptolemy V, a synod of priests held at Memphis. In 185 BC, transferred all honors that Ptolemy V had received in 196. So at the wedding, that's what it's talking about, 196, at the wedding, written on the what? Rosetta Stone to his wife in 187 BC, Cleopatra I appointed vizier. So it's saying that they had the proof that Antiochus III or Antiochus III had given his daughter with this land, and it was written on the Rosetta Stone. So when you read the Rosetta Stone, what they did was they wrote it in Greek, and they wrote it in the Egyptian hieroglyphics, right? They wrote it in multiple ways so you can read it in whatever language it was written. That's why they say like the Rosetta Stone, like when you're talking about the different languages and stuff like that, because they wrote it like this on this stone. You know what I'm saying? The different things that Antiochus III had gave to Ptolemy V, they wrote it on that stone. So that's what it's making reference to, the Rosetta Stone. So it's making reference to, so when you hear Rosetta Stone, that's making reference to Cleopatra I's marriage with with Ptolemy V. That's what's making reference to. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Daniel, chapter 11. And we was at verse 14. Watch this, y'all. Leave that article up there. We're going to come right back. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 14.
Yeah.
And in those times there shall stand up against the king of the south. Hold up. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south.
So we didn't look at Hannibal. We didn't look at Antiochus III. We didn't look at Philip and Perseus. They stood up against the king of the south. Go ahead.
Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall.
But they shall fall. They said they doing stupid stuff. They fall. Go ahead.
So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand.
So he was a puppet king. He was a baby, right? He was a puppet king. He was only 16 years old when he started ruling. He was an infant, it said. You know what I'm saying? So it was no power to withstand whatever the Antiochus was doing. They was winning, but they were so used to being perpetual losers. Go ahead.
But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land.
He took Israel, he took Judea, he took Seleucia. Go ahead.
Which by his hand shall be consumed.
He got it. Go ahead.
He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom.
So they said, we're going to go take everything the Ptolemies got. Go ahead.
And upright ones with him.
Yep. And so when they say upright ones with him, guys like Hannibal, right, the Israelites, was with him. They was on his side. Some of them was with him. Go ahead.
Thus shall he do. And he shall give him the daughter of women.
He gave him Cleopatra.
corrupting her.
Uh-huh.
But she shall not stand on his side,
Uh-huh.
neither be for him.
So Cleopatra, right? Now, when they say the daughter of women, it's also making reference to the land of Seleucia, right? When you read in 2nd Ezra, it also calls Israel a delicate woman. You know what I'm saying? So with this woman, Cleopatra, also came the daughter of women, which was Seleucia or Judea, right? When you read historically. Read it again, verse 17.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 17.
Yeah.
He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. And he shall give him the daughter of women.
So he gave him Cleopatra the first, along with the land or the visor or the what else did he call it up there? Go back up some for me, Boda. Dowry. Yeah, it gave her the dowry of Israel or Judea. You know what I'm saying? Or Seleucia, same stuff. It gave him a dowry that came with her. Go ahead.
Corrupting her.
Corrupting that land. Go ahead.
But she shall not stand on his side.
Now, when it says she shall not stand on that side, it's making reference to Cleopatra the first again. She shall not stand on his side. Go ahead.
Neither before him.
Neither before him. So when you read about Cleopatra, right, what was happening was that her daddy, right, Antiochus III, didn't like the Romans like we read before. So he's sending his daughter over there to Egypt. What you think he going to tell that girl? Yeah, go use your thing, you know what I'm saying, and make this young boy do what we want him to do. You know what I'm saying? Make him be on our side instead of on the Roman side. That's what he sent her over there with. He sent her over there with that idea in mind. But let's see what she did. Read that verse again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 17. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. And he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her. But she shall not stand on his side.
She said, you know what, man, these Romans is moving and grooving, husband. Ptolemy the Fifth, they moving and grooving. Go ahead.
Neither before him.
She said, don't worry about my daddy, man. Go ahead.
Daddy was a loser, so his daughter was a loser too.
Yeah, daughter's a loser too. She said, I know we gonna lose to these Romans, man. So we might as well side with them.
Yeah, she know her history. She's like, I'm straight.
I'm straight. I don't want to even get in this fight, man. Let's go ahead and side with these Romans. So that's what you're reading right here. She told her husband, Ptolemy the Fifth, to side with the Romans instead of her father. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease.
Yeah.
Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him.
All right, let's go back to the book. Go to Hellenica right quick. Hellenica, what time it is? Hellenica, I just sent you something out of here. I know I keep going to this book, y'all, Hellenica. One day I'll be in Rome, and we'll get into some other books. I'm almost out of here. We're going to make it. I thought I was going to make it to Antiochus III, but it's not looking good. I mean, the fourth. Not looking good. All right, Hellenica. All right, what's the page? The next one I sent you. Okay, so this is making reference to the Punic Wars. All right, go up to the top. What is the page numbers at the top? What does it say? Keep going. 110. Okay, 110. What page I'm on right now? Okay, so go this way. All right, cool. So at the bottom of it, right in the pink highlight, it says, Scipio was greatly honored for his victory by the Roman Senate and given the title of Africanus. Hannibal lived through his defeat and ruled Carthage under the Romans. So that was for a brief time, until his enemies drove him out in 195 BC. What did we just see happen in 195 BC? It's telling you Antiochus and his daughter had a plot to go into Egypt. So what does Hannibal say? Let me get with these cats. Let me jump on with Antiochus III. He don't like them Romans neither. I'm going to jump on with him. Let's see what happened. He took a refuge first with the Seleucid king Antiochus III. So that's Antiochus III in Asia Minor, and later in Bithynian king nearby. When the Romans insisted he be surrendered to them, he took poison and died in 182 BC. So this tells you that Hannibal left Carthage and went up there with Antiochus the third. You know what I'm saying? So he went up there. So when you read in Daniel 11, and when it said, in those times there shall many stand up against him, the Ptolemies, the Carthaginians, the Macedonians, or Philip and Perseus, and many other nations was fighting against the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Romans. That's what's going on. All right, let's go back to verse 18, I believe it was.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 18. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him.
So this is making reference to the Battle of Manganese, and this is where Antiochus III dies. Go ahead.
Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found.
There you go. He just died. All right. Go ahead.
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle.
So go back to Antiochus III, or Antiochus III, right quick in Wiki. So it's verse 19 said, then he shall turn his face towards the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. So he was in there robbing, pillaging, right? Taking money. He had to pay these dang Romans. Just click on it. Okay. He had to pay these dang Romans. So he in there trying to get the money to pay these cats. Just scroll up. I want to see the successor. The successor. So the successor of Antiochus the Third, or Antiochus the Great, right? We just seen everything he went through. We're going into his successor, who was the king after him. So it was Seleucus the Third, right? That's how you would say that? The fourth? Oh, the fourth. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't read Roman numerals. Seleucus the fourth, right? Click that thing. And we're going to go to Second Maccabees, I believe it is. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. Second Maccabees, I know it when I see it. Where's that, JDL? I know I showed it to you. Of Second Maccabees? Hold on. I know when I see it. Nah, it should say like where the apparition appears. 5? Okay. Let's go to. Yeah, we'll start at chapter 3. Let's start at chapter 3. We'll read chapter 3 and verse 1 first. But hold on. Where I'm at, okay, so Seleucus the fourth, Philopator, 175 BC, ruler of the Hellenistic Empire, Syrian. So he ruled from, what does it say? 187 to 175 BC, right? So when you read Daniel chapter 11 and verse 20, read that again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 20.
Yeah.
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle.
So he only ruled for about, what's that? Like 12 years? Like 12 years. So this is making reference to him. But he called him a what again?
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom.
So he was a raiser of taxes. Why he had to pay these dang Romans? You know what I'm saying? Let's read 2 Maccabees chapter 3. Start at verse 1 right quick. Read through it kind of quick.
2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 1.
Yeah.
Now when the holy city was inhabited with all peace, and the laws were kept very well, because of the godliness of Onias the high priest, and his hatred of wickedness, it came to pass that even the kings themselves did honor the place, and magnify the temple with their best gifts, insomuch that Seleucus, king of Asia, of his own revenues, bare all the cost belonging to the service of the sacrifices.
So it's telling. So this is making reference to Seleucus the fourth that we're reading about now, right? We're gonna jump over to chapter You said what? Where is it at, JDL? 5. 4 and 7. No, that ain't what I want. I want where he raised the taxes. Yeah. Let's go to chapter. We're still in chapter 3. All right, just keep going. Read kind of quick though. We just read verse 3. Read verse 3 again.
2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 3.
Yeah.
Insomuch that Seleucus, king of Asia.
Is this up online, Jadea? I mean, you both. We don't need this right now. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Insomuch that Seleucus, king of Asia, of his own revenues, bear all the costs belonging to the service of the sacrifices. But one Simon of the tribe of Benjamin, who was made governor.
What tribe he was from?
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Boy, these dang Benjamites. Boy, look at them, boy. I tell you. Go ahead. Then the class in. Boda, cut it off. Dang, Boda, don't do it to me. Go ahead. Tribe of Benjamin. Keep going.
Who was made governor of the temple, fell out with the high priest about disorder in the city.
Yeah.
And when he could not overcome Onias, he gat him to Apollonius, the son of Thracius, who was then governor of Seleucia and Phoenice.
So these dudes, right, he governor of Seleucia or Judea and Phoenice, which is all the way over there on the western part of Egypt, right? Go ahead. And it's also north of Israel as well. All right, go ahead.
And told him that the treasury in Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money.
What did he tell him? Read that again. What this dude go do? What this Benjamite do, man? Drop dime on us, man. Read that again.
And told him that the treasury in Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money.
Dang.
So that the multitude of their riches, which did not pertain to the account of the sacrifices, was innumerable, and that it was possible to bring all into the king's hand.
Now the king got to pay the Romans. So what is he thinking? Let's go back to Daniel right quick, 11 and 20. We'll come right back to Maccabees. Read that again.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 20.
Yeah.
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom.
Why was he raising taxes? He had to pay these Romans. What'd he do? This dude, Simon the Benjamite, say, we got money over here. We got stacks on racks. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. Dang Benjamin. Well, let's go back. Come on to 2 Maccabees.
2 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 7.
Yeah.
Now when Apollonius came to the king and had showed him of the money whereof he was told, the king chose out Heliodorus, his treasurer, and sent him with a commandment to bring him the foresaid money.
Yeah, he said, go get that money, man. Go ahead.
So forthwith Heliodorus took his journey under a color of visiting the cities of Seleucia and Phoenice, but indeed to fulfill the king's purpose.
Indeed, to raise the taxes on the people. Go ahead.
And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city, he told him what intelligence was given of the money.
He said, man, I'm checking on y'all, but I heard y'all got money over here, man. What's going on with that? Go ahead.
And declared wherefore he came, and asked if these things were so indeed.
Go ahead.
Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children.
For the widows and fathers. Yeah, we got money. We got money saved up for the poor, man. Go ahead.
And that some of it belonged to Hyrcanus, the son of Tobias.
Some of it belonged to who?
Hyrcanus, the son of Tobias.
What we was reading about earlier, Tobit and Tobias. So the money here belonged to them. What did they do with their money? Read verse 10 again.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children.
You got to understand, that's what Tobit and Tobias was about, right? Taking care of the poor, right? They would bury the poor. They would take care of those poor people around them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they had money stored up. So these dudes, as you read through this, that's what happened, right? They go in there and try to get the money. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Daniel chapter 11.
Verse 20 again?
Yeah, read verse 20.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 20.
Yeah.
Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle.
Go ahead.
And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries.
So this is going into Antiochus or Antiochus Epiphanes, right? So he only reigned for 12 years, and when they say the vile person, it's talking about Antiochus or Antiochus Epiphanes. Let's go back, though. Let's go back to Malachi. Let's go to Malachi chapter 1. I want to read this right quick, and we're going to get up out of here. I just want to show y'all this. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 1. So you got to understand, man, these guys, they built great things, right? These Greek kings, they built monuments and giant statues and all these huge things. You know what I'm saying? And we went through all of this history to show us something, and I wanted y'all to kind of see this. So, moving into Antiochus the Fourth and into Rome, we won't really, I'll kind of get into that stuff a little more, but I just want us to make reference to the things that they did, and remember those things and how we can see those things even in our lives today. Come on.
Is the book of Malachi chapter 1 and verse 1.
Yeah.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi.
Yeah.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So it say everything that they build, right, I laid it waste. Go ahead.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
So you got to understand, during the time of the Greeks, they returned and they built the desolate places. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
So give me that 7 wonders of the world right quick. The 7 wonders of the ancient world. The 7 wonders of the ancient world. I got it in this book, too, in Hellenica. I should have just used this. But we on Wiki, man. We just Wiki-ed it out today. Sorry. I know this ain't the best resource. But, hey. It's in this book, too. That's what got me into it. Hellenica. But go to, you got it, Poto? Nah. It was just an article on Wiki. 7 wonders of, the ancient world. All right, so the 7 wonders of the ancient world. All right, so the 7 wonders ancient world is a list of remarkable constructions of classical antiquity, given by various authors in guided books or poems popular among ancient Hellenic tourists. So it's talking about the Greeks, right? Although the list in its current form did not stabilized until the Renaissance. The first such list of 7 wonders date back to the 2nd and 1st century BC, so around the 200s and 300s, right? The original list inspired innumerable versions through the ages. The listings of the original 7 wonders was the Pyramid of Giza, right, of Khufu. I scroll down. It says, all that about the pyramid. No, stay back. Go back. No, I want that part right there. It says the Colossus of Rhodes. So one of the 7 wonders of the world was the Colossus of Rhodes. This was in the area of the territories of Greece, right? The Lighthouse of Alexandria. This was in Egypt. The Mausoleum of Helenocrates. I believe this was in Babylon. The Temple of Artemis and the statue of Zeus was also in Babylon. Were all what? Destroyed. It was all destroyed. Give me Colossus of Rhodes. Can I get the picture? Huh? No, Colossus of Rhodes is the guy standing up. Yep. All right, so this is the Colossus of Rhodes, right? Give me the Statue of Liberty. Let's read Malachi 1 and 4 again.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Yeah.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Yeah.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build.
They shall build the Colossus of Rhodes. Go ahead.
But I will throw down.
But he shall throw it down. So the Colossus of Rhodes was destroyed. But guess what? They built it again, right? You look at the Statue of Liberty. Give me the Colossus of Rhodes. Can they see that? Where did Colossus of Rhodes go? You got all the clicks. So that's the Colossus Rhodes, which was in Greece, or Rhodes is what it's called, right? So this giant statue, see, got the little crown with the head on it, it's holding out a light, all that thing, right? So when you go back to Statue of Liberty, you see these things are similar. I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but they look very similar, right? Yeah. Give me what was the one called? Zeus. Did that one leave too? Yeah. Yep. So can they see that? Okay, so that is, go back to, what was it called again? The statue of Zeus or something like that. Give me also, what's it called? The Abraham Lincoln Monument? Lincoln Memorial. So you see Zeus right here. Read verse 4 one more time.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4.
Yeah.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
So when they went into Babylon, conquered it, they built some stuff. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build.
They built the giant statue of Zeus in Babylon. Go ahead.
But I will throw down.
And he threw it down. And you see, I'm not saying they look exactly the same, but they similar. You know what I'm saying? You got Abraham Lincoln, the same thing. They went and set him on the throne and made him look, you know what I'm saying, like this similar statue. You know what I'm saying? You also have things like the lighthouse of Alexandria, or Pharos, on the island of Pharos. You had the museum or the mausoleum or the gymnasium of Alexandria. You also had, what else did I say? The lighthouse, piece of roads. You had great ports, great cities, you know, all these different things, man. They built them, you know what I'm saying? Read verse 3.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3.
Yeah.
And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So who lived there in them lands that they took over before? Them dang dragons of the wilderness, the Arabs. They lived there today, and they destroyed all of this stuff, all this debauchery. They threw it down. Go ahead.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
So even though this stuff was built over here and destroyed in times past during the kingdom of the Greeks, right? Even though this stuff was destroyed, they said they gonna do what again?
They shall build, but I will throw down.
So they built the stuff again when they came to this side of the world. They built the same stuff. Go ahead.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Here it come.
And your eyes shall see.
And your what?
Your eyes shall see.
So you got to understand, you have to understand the history in order to understand that your eyes can see this stuff, that they built these different things, and when you look them up, you can look them up. You can say, dang, what happened to Colossus of Rhodes? Oh, shoot, the Lord destroyed that in an earthquake. What happened to the Alexandria Library? Man, it was set on fire and fell in the ocean. Man, what happened to this great statue or the Hanging Gardens? It was destroyed in the earthquake. These different things. Earthquake hit it, this stuff just fall apart. Because the Lord said he going to do what? Destroy it. He going to throw it down. Read it again, though.
And your eyes shall see.
Your eyes are supposed to be able to note what's going on and what has happened historically. And then you can look this stuff up. Your eyes shall see. Go ahead.
And ye shall say.
And you supposed to say, go ahead.
The Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel.
The Lord is magnified. The Lord should be magnified in you when you understand historically what has happened and what happened to the different things, the different monuments that was built in times past. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not but you're not. I'm not just into this history stuff just because I'm crazy. It's we can look at these things that happened in times past and we can understand. Just like that monument was destroyed of Zeus and the Pharaoh's Island and Alexandria and the Colossus of Rhodes, just like he destroyed that stuff, he gonna do the same thing in this country in times to come, right? And it's the same thing. They build the same stuff, and the Lord is gonna come destroy it. Let's go to. I'm gonna give you one more. Romans 9, man. I read that one all the time. I just want to read. I gotta go. Gotta get up out of here, fam. Romans chapter 9, and I want verse. Let's start at verse 15.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 15.
Yeah.
For he said to Moses.
So he said unto the prophets of past, go ahead.
I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy.
He going to have mercy on his people.
And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
So it's God. When he send these earthquakes, send this destruction, it's him that's pointing it in the direction he wants these earthquakes and these fires and this the ocean to swallow up different things. Like the ocean swallowed up the Library of Alexandria. Just think about that. Like they can't even find it. Like they know it's down there somewhere, and they can't date exactly when it happened. They just know it was destroyed. You know what I'm saying? They just know Colossus Road was hit with a earthquake and it fell over. You know what I'm saying? You can go see it laying in the dirt right now. They keep saying they're gonna rebuild it, but they know the Lord gonna just throw it down. Go ahead.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh,
go ahead.
even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show that I might show my power in thee.
You gotta understand, these things are done for the visual effects of us to look it up and see historically this is what has happened, right? This is the power of the Lord. This is what it matters. This is why these historical things matter, because we can look at the stuff that was destroyed in time past. Say, he's going to do the same thing in the future. Finish that scripture.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Read verse 17 again.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh.
The scripture say unto those leaders, those leaders of the past, right? Those we read about the Greeks in Egypt. We read about the Greeks in Babylon, right? It's making reference to that same stuff. Go ahead.
Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up.
He allowed the Greeks to grow to the magnitude in which they grew. He allowed the Romans to grow to the magnitude in which they grew. Why?
That I might show my power in thee.
Because we as people are visual, right? We'll read the stuff, but if we don't understand historically when these different things happen or what it's talking about, we can't look it up. So we visual. We got to be able to see. We got to be able to see the power of the Lord. Go ahead.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
All right, family. So with that, fam, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Anything y'all want to say before I get up out of here? Anything?
Message. Shalom, man.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. Put my email up there. If y'all got any questions for me, feel free to hit me up. Lord's will. See you brothers and sisters here soon. That's it, man. Let's see, you got anything else?
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless y'all. Muscle.
I leave fighting Levi's my enemies. Device and icy. They wanna keep me blind. They wanna feed me lies. They know a prophet among them. I've been chosen in sacrifices and young and all. Praises to the Most High. His son bringing destruction. His words slicing dice. They cut if you think I'm bluffing. You celebrating Turkey Day. I'm knocking out your stuffing. I give praise and thanks for the man I'm becoming. Boy, it's nothing. I pray more and I talk less. And since I learned the truth, I earn joy and I drop stress. Walking to the kingdom, I'm aiming for the top steps. Surrounded by water empire, gotta be cautious. I'm nauseous, cause the carcass hiding in office. The lawless, just the flawless. I'm lethargic, your logic, condemn the conscience of the novice. It's toxic, your former topic is all gossip and vain. And Christ coming back, yeah, he coming with them flames. I'm speaking all facts, boy, no, it's not a game. It's time to lead the track, yeah, you know it's time to change. Sometimes I feel like I'm trapped in my mind. Every beast love is like, and every man he cleaves up to his kind. Vision blurry, but somehow I'm chosen to lead the blind. Imagine my surprise when I realize it's all just by design. I'm never hasty to give credit. All that fake stuff, you could get it. I'm no peasant or no tenant. No, you can't get a percentage. Yeah, I said it. These false prophets only just for profit. Hiding truth and telling lies like a homo hiding in closets out of pocket. But honestly,
we used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone, 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.